So this past week was very interesting. We set out to test the limits of the online medium. Ashish actually taught just 10 students. And then finally, a class of 100 kids in order to demonstrate good practices, in order to learn ourselves, and in order to ultimately advise and support schools and teachers. Ashish, over to you.
First class was a disaster. I thought I was not able to get across to the children. I was fumbling with the technology. The energy was low. I was not sure how much they got out of it. The next day came and I was able to pick myself up, did 2 classes back to back, and they went quite well. 9 steps to overcoming the fear of teaching online.
Tip 1. Respect the technology.
And my big discovery was the mute button is a huge, huge asset. Without it, it's like driving a car without brakes. And so once I discovered the brakes, I felt a little bit more in control of the process. The accelerator is the chat box. The chat box opens so many possibilities for running quizzes, to get instant feedback, to understand differentiation between different categories of children. It gives a certain dynamism to the exchange.
Tip 2. Less content is more.
My rule would be 10 slides. But one suggestion I have, if you want to cut content, when in doubt, go to the aim. You're not in the lesson to give children things. It's to get things out of them. Giving is happening on the internet all the time in so many places, but getting out is, and that's hard. And I think that's the really profound value of a good teacher.
Tip 3. Get feedback early.
I would probably still be shedding tears had it not been for my colleagues. The most important thing is when you're doing this initially, if you can get someone to watch you, that's immensely useful. And then talk to you. If they're talking to you without watching you, okay, they can say nice things or good things or feel good things. And if they're watching you and the conversation is not happening, then it won't improve too much.
Tip 4. Experience the difference.
You have to take the leap. At least in my case, it was helpful to watch a few other people, and I wanted to do it in my own way, but I think it was good to see what was working for others and what was not. Just think back to a time when you ran a good class. I think that gives you motivation and energy.
Tip 5. Method still matters.
I think technology is the new lungs of education. But the oxygen is pedagogy or method. And my respect for XSEED method in this last week has gone up dramatically. You have to adapt the format of it, but the clarity of an aim, doing a simple experiment. Of course, demo becomes a lot more important because kids are not sitting with each other in this context. The dialogue and the question choice becomes very important, but analysis is super important. You have to do practice and assessment, and you have new tools for assessment. You can do a parallel online Google form type of quiz. You can do it in the chat. You could ask them to show it on the screen.
Tip 6. The lesson continues.
Look at what the children have started sending on WhatsApp. The homework letter is there from several of them. Some of them have made diagrams around it. Some of them have sent their KW charts. Even in very ordinary settings, it brings in the possibility of continuity.
Tip 7. Needs more preparation.
Tools are very important. So the simple chart of know and want to know, what I was calling the K and W chart, was a huge benefit. This is also messy. This was my checklist for the class I ran well.
Tip 8. Even more energy.
A simple tip, which one of my colleagues gave me was, you're so much better when you stand up. Pace helps. And pace doesn't mean rush it, but you do need some velocity. You do need some traction, and children are looking for that energy.
Tip 9. Seek individual expression.
I ran a class with 100 kids. I mean, that sounds crazy. that the engagement was arguably higher than it would have been in a face-to-face class. But the children can do at least 2 or 3 things simultaneously. They can either write and show it to you, they can either talk in the video, they can put in the chat. There's less distraction for them around them. I put Prince's picture here because this was a child who was unwilling or unable to introduce himself at the beginning of the class. But you saw in the end how beautifully he spoke and made his points. And this is within an hour this transition happened. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a safe weekend.